How you doing, YouTube? Matt Massive Beer Reviews, back on holiday, back with some mystery beers, back in beers in general, because it's been quite a while. We're going to dive into this sucker. This comes courtesy of Carson. No idea what's in this sucker, but we're talking about a 12-ounce can. We're talking about a gold top. What I was going to say was, this is probably a macro lager. Yeah, that's not the case with this beer. Look at that. That is Doc with like 5 A's dark. So we're talking about some kind of imperial stout. Gold top doesn't necessarily denote like macro, but more often than not when you see these gold tops, at least when I see them, I think in mystery beer format that they're going to be some kind of macro beer, but we'll see what's what. So I mean, from a distance, what do we have here? That be stout. If that is not stout, I don't know what it is. Even from the head, how dark it is, how rich it is. It looks like a high ABV stout. It could also be some kind of barrel-aged stout, but it looks like something with a bit of gusto. Sure, you can. The body itself has like motor oil black. You can get that with lower ABV stouts if they're done a certain way, but you rarely get a head that color if it's not of the high octane variety. So let's see what the nose says. I'm not really getting much there, which kind of leads me to believe that maybe I'm wrong. Just a roasted malt, a bit of like almost like a slight kind of tart funkiness to it. It's not a sour beer, but it's coming off that way. I'm not getting much as far as barrel. There's chocolate beyond what I typically get from like a roasted malt, so maybe like a chocolate or even like a soft vanilla addition. But that's pretty much it. Not really getting anything as far as oak, as far as barrel, as far as super expressiveness. The only thing I would say is maybe chocolate in a milk stout. Because that funkiness is coming off a little bit like a curdled half and half. Sometimes I get that from milk stouts. But yeah, it doesn't smell like a big beer. Just going to dive in. Cheers. Oh, that comes off bigger in the taste it actually does in the nose. But it does have is a big metallic astringency. That thing I call out quite a bit on these kind of darker beers. Again, that leads me to believe it's still kind of relatively low ABV. From the nose, I was kind of guessing maybe like a 5-6% beer, honestly. Now with the way the beer is coming off, how rich that chocolate comes off, there is a decent kind of bittering component to it. And there is a soft milk stout kind of version or kind of vibe to it. I'm thinking more like an 8% and change, somebody's version of a milk stout that is kind of bittering. Like a Russian Imperial milk stout kind of vibe is what I'm getting off of it. So let's see. Okay, let's flip the script a little bit. Let's ditch the milk stout and go oatmeal stout. Russian Imperial oatmeal stout. I'm gonna say 7.2. I think it's gonna be a little sneaky. I don't think it's super high in ABV, but it has a little bit of oomph to it. 7.2% Imperial oatmeal stout, chocolate added. Done. I have no idea who made this. I'm trying to think if anything kind of reminds me of this beer. And it tastes super old school, let's put it that way. And the weird part about that, I was about to say, if this is new school, I'd be surprised. The weird part is, it's not so much that it would be surprising if it was a new school beer. If the person who made this is a uber new school brewery, that would be weird. This is either an old school beer, or it's a new school brewery that is like, kind of their traditions are kind of engulfed in the BJCP style kind of homebrew kind of sensibility, because it comes off as a classic, slightly bittering Russian Imperial kind of oatmeal stout, maybe with soft chocolate cocoa nibs added. What did I? 7.2%. Done and done. Let's see what the sucker has to offer. Another very interesting one. Thank you very much, Carson. These are kind of fun. The two mystery beers was 2, right? I believe it was 2 that he sent off were pretty good stuff. So we'll see where this one has to go. So we're talking about a black can. Okay. Barely 1050. I was kind of thinking it had 1050 vibes, but I was like, nah, that bittering kind of made me want to think it was 1050, but I really did not get much as far as any kind of bourbon off this. I mean, it didn't drink that way. What's the age on this? Okay, you know, this is not that old. I mean, this is, looks like it's canned on 2019, November. I was really getting not much as far as any kind of bourbon off of this sucker. I don't think I still am. Even placebo effect. Yeah, I guess. Now that I drink it, I can be like, okay, fine. I'm getting bourbon off of it. It didn't really come off as a big beer to me. You're talking about 12.5%. I thought this kind of drank closer to, like I said, 7-8% alcohol by volume. And it really came off as kind of a bittering, which makes sense when you're talking about 1050, kind of oatmeal stout. But I totally whiffed on that one. That's probably one of the kind of most wrongest. Is that like the way you say words and shit? Most wrongest. I love that shit. Kind of mystery beer I've done in quite some time, which kind of makes me really excited because these are kind of fun. Now, I will give myself a little bit of out on this one. This is my first foray back into drinking beer after having a month off. So I'll chalk that up to a little bit of rust, if you will. But that was a really fun one to do. Thank you very much, Carson. Super fun stuff. Anyway, let's talk about this. Is this beer one of the better bourbon barrel aged imperial stouts that I've had as of late? No. The way this one sits, the way this one drinks, just doesn't really land for me in that sense. Like I said, it's not a bad beer. It's a fine beer. It does give me that metallic astringency that I'm not a big fan of. But all in all, that's more of a me problem than a beer problem, since I'm so sensitive to that. I was never going to go bourbon barrel aged, kind of huge double-digit ABV imperial stout on this, and that's just how it drank. Now, is that a negative thing? For me, it is. If I'm going to drink a 12% beer that's bourbon barrel aged, I want the barrel to show. I want the beer to show. This came up much short from there, so it just kind of lacks a little bit of oomph for its style. But if you're into kind of chugging lower-ish ABV beers, this one might do you all kinds of proper. So, yeah. Value and availability, it's $10.50. Probably find it everywhere at a decent price point. And like I said, if you like your big ABV kind of imperial stouts to drink small, then this is all about you. Just not for me. So there you go. Another review in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Down there if you want to talk about it. Massive Beers if you want to check me out doing the social media stuff. Beer Massive. Want to check me out doing the whole podcasting thing. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully you're enjoying a nice chuggable jam right now. Hope to see you next time. Cheers.